way. Instead, if I said to that same person, hey, look, I'm giving you 30 days to go find your next thing. At the end of 30 days, we're going to part ways. Did it cost me that much money to
No.
pay that person 30 more days? VCs are not going to like it. But I got news for you. Your employer score is going to go up, right? Your positivity score
Hmm.
on what do you call it? Open Door is going to go, not Open Door. What am I talking about? The
Glassdoor.
Glassdoor. Yeah.
Yep.
Glassdoor is going to go up, right? Everything's going to go up. You're going to have better outcomes for helping that person move on than being pissy about it, you know?
Yeah.
And I actually would rather spend in a one-on-one because I did them bi-weekly, right? I would rather spend two one-on-ones helping understand where that person's are in their search and how are they doing, what can I do in my
Hmm.
network to help you move on, than to be like, here's 4 weeks notice. Cheers.
Yeah. See you later. Talk to you never.
I've spent time with them. I developed these people. I hired them in many instances. Like, if I care about my team, I'm going to spend the time to help them move on because I care about them. And that's a
Yeah.
choice you have to make as a leader. That's the choice I make.
I love that because I mean that goes to I mean just treating people with kindness at the end of the day. I mean obviously we're in a professional position and we need to make some proper business decisions, but just treating somebody with respect and kindness is going to go a lot farther than the opposite.
100%. You could even put it in there. I don't know. Again, it's my take on it, and it's probably not everyone's take. And there's going to be people that are very against this. But my
Yep.
take on it is, you can easily have a conversation to someone that says, "Hey, you have 30 days. I'm not paying you past 30 days. You get 30 days of pay. You can either take today as your last day, or you can stay here for 30 days and work. But I would prefer that you would just work on figuring out what your next step is. Come in, join the calls, get on the team calls, but work with me. I'll help you." But if
Yeah.
I'd rather do that. But that's just my leadership style. And a lot of people be like, "That's a distraction to everyone. Why would you do that?" It's my I can create. I can take things away from that person to diminish the distractions, right?
Yeah.
So
Well, and like plus I mean because I mean your team's going to talk to each other, right?
yeah,
So I mean whoever that person is that hey it's time for you to move on, they're still going to know like anybody else is talking to them like hey if something terrible were to happen and I need to part ways with this company, I'm going to be treated well, which I mean I
yeah.
think is huge,
Well,
huge.
here's another thing too. Okay, there's a message that you send to a team when you fire someone. Okay,
Mm,
which absolutely true. There's an old, I think it was Bezos that had said, if you don't fire someone, you missed an opportunity for the team to learn. Um, the whole team can know that it's somebody's going to have 30 days on leave. You
yeah,
can have that message get across. But then that message gets catapulted too, is like, Brian's a good guy, right? We like Brian because
yep,
he's got our back.
hmm,
Yeah, this didn't work out, but he's not treating this person like poop.
yep,
Like, this is a good deal, right? Or if it's going to be visceral and it's on that person, if they want to make it where it's kind of combative or contentious and they want to come at you about it, then they can have it. You know what? Today's your last day, and that's
yeah,
fine, right? And this is your severance, and they can negotiate their severance. They have all the other rights that come along with it, but it's a matter of how they want to exit. Because at the end of the day, how is it that they want to be perceived later in their career? It's a very small world, my friend. So
yeah, absolutely. And every industry is that way. Last couple questions here as we're
sure,
kind of wrapping things up is
yeah.
I'm really curious because you talked a lot about leadership, but what qualities do you think every great leader has to have, and how do you develop those things in yourself?
I think that being a good person helps you be a great leader.
Yes. Oh
So
gosh, yeah.
so there's we promote a lot of top reps into leadership positions, expecting that because they were a top
Mm,
rep will make them a top leader, and that's not the same skill set.
different skill set.
You need to be a people person that cares about the success of others and
Yeah.
understands that everyone's different. So you need to be able to
Hmm.
understand various approaches to teaching and coaching and developing individuals. There's a lot of courses out there that you could take. A good leader is someone that's willing to learn and take the time to invest in themselves to learn.
Hmm.
The shameless plug on that pavilion, and that's one of the things we do is we help leaders develop themselves. But so there's that. Take the courses, learn, be humble, right? Always try to be somewhat humble. I would go out with a team member. I'd sell an entire deal. I would do the whole work for the deal. But when we did the shout out, it was, I can't believe how awesome this person did on this deal. You
Yeah.
mind you, that team member's going, that's not how that went, but no one else knows that.
Yeah.
And how does that help them feel about their progress? Like, you need to be humble. That's an important part. And I think you need to be a really great listener. A good leader is a great listener, not just with the customers, but with their team.
Mm-hmm.
Because their team's going to tell you when you're messing up. Your team's going to tell you when the company's off base. The team's going to tell you when the product's not working. The team's going to tell you when customers don't want to buy for a specific reason. You need to be
Mm-hmm.
willing to listen and understand how to either help them overcome those objections and those challenges, or help the business understand how to overcome those challenges.
Mm-hmm.
I used to talk about how being a leader, especially in the front line or that director position, you're the great translator, because
Yes.
you're
Oh,
translating the words of your team and the feedback you're getting, as well as what you're getting from the top down, and you're the
mm-hmm.
great translator between both worlds.
Yeah, man, I love that. The great translate. That's fantastic way to put it. One last question for you. So if you were to go back, to like your very first leadership role, what kind of advice would you give yourself, after, 15 years in the field?
I made a lot of mistakes. I think that I wouldn't change anything. I think those mistakes are the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I actually hope to fail a little quicker. I failed a lot. Maybe the one piece of advice maybe I'd change that answer. The one piece of advice I'd give myself is that it's really important to keep your emotions in check.
Yeah.
Like, and where I'm going with this, early days, I was extremely loyal to every brand that I worked with.
Mm-hmm.
Loyal to a fault, loyal to a point where I put it above everything else I was doing. Many times I put it above my family. I was company first, company guy. That was who I was.
Mm-hmm.
I've definitely had my share of being asked to pack my things and move on. Okay. Like, it's happened. If you're in sales, it happens.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. And so you sit there and you have these moments of like, holy cow, I was loyal and wasn't shown that loyalty in return. What the heck?
Mm-hmm.
Those are lessons that, like, I would have wanted in check sooner, and that you want to be loyal to yourself. So be loyal to yourself. Know what your ethics are. Know what your integrity is. Know what your value is. I learned that being loyal to BryanElssessor.com was more important and as a first priority than being loyal to XYZCompany.com as a first priority. And once I learned that lesson, I actually unlocked a lot of what I would call executive presence and
Yeah.
understanding of like my own self-worth, and imposter syndrome went out the door, and a
Yep.
lot of things shifted when I started having those lessons.
I love that. That's fantastic because so many people struggle with exactly what you were just talking about, and just finding, like, valuing yourself first gives you, again, like you were just saying, just so much confidence in that executive presence, like you were mentioning. And so many people, it's easy to miss, I think.
Yeah, I'm not perfect at it either, right? I still have my lessons that I learn every single day. So be a work in progress. That's the best way you can be.
Yeah, work in progress forever, right?
Yeah, that's it. The
Well,
end.
Bryan, thank you again so much for coming on the show together. It's been
Yeah.
fantastic with a ton of gold, to tell you what.
Jacob, it's been fun, man. I appreciate it. I hope to be on again. So good luck. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, thank you. And anybody listening, make sure to subscribe for more great insights like this, and we'll see you next time.